A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, it is a period of genetic experimentation and Sandwich Day. Forces of chaos collide in the form of a renegade alien bent on destruction and a little girl who wants nothing more than to feel she can be herself under the very stressed eye of a big sister trying her best. With the ticking clock of unfeeling bureaucracy bearing down, it's not just about finding a job or becoming a model citizen. It's about remembering that Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Lilo and Stitch is rated G, but the people in this podcast are decidedly not, and thus this episode is not suitable for all ages. We swear a lot. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views expressed therein are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of their employers.
Hello there, and welcome back to 6 Degrees of Star Wars, the podcast where we explore all the ways George Lucas's flagship franchise surrounds us, binds us, and penetrates us in the landscape of cinema. I'm your host, Sam Marchioni. Joining me today, River Lane.
I'm not lying on the floor of my apartment listening to Sad Elvis when I get depressed. What? No.
Matt Madrano.
I'm Matt, and I also like Fluffy.
And for the very first time, please welcome Ella Cesare.
McClunky!
So naughty! Welcome, everybody. We are here to discuss the 2002 Disney animated classic, Lilo and Stitch. Now, Ella, this is your first time, and I understand you want to try and guess the degree.
Yes, I would like to try and guess the degree. Let me pull up actually the list of degrees again, because I had it in my mind who it was, and then, alright, so here we go. I would like to place my bet that this is a degree 3, and that the connection is, Kevin Michael Richardson voices Captain Gantu in Lilo and Stitch, and is credited as Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars The Clone Wars 2008, the movie, and is credited as some character I can't pronounce in Star Wars Clone Wars 2003. That is my guess.
Your guess is 100% correct.
Yay! Kevin Michael Richardson. His name is Kevin Michael Richardson.
You win metachlorians, I guess.
No, that's okay. You can keep them.
Sam, you didn't tell us there'd be a test.
Hey, don't look at me. This was her idea.
Okay.
Mostly because this is just the kind of nerd that I am, you know? I'm the human IMDb thing where I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so,
yes.
And they were in this as well.
Yeah, I relate to that deeply. We are all, I think, human IMDbs here, but Lilo and Stitch, treasure trove of voice actors. Besides Kevin Michael Richardson, we've got Bob Bergen, Steve Bloom, Kath Soucie, and Jeff Fisher also in the ranks.
What do you mean Steve Bloom is in this? What the fuck?
Real underrated voice actors, all of them, honestly. I think they all deserve more love.
Yeah. Voice actors are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And they're really fucking amazing in this movie.
Yeah!
That's true.
Oh, such a good movie. You know what, actually, before we go right into it, I'm gonna place a moratorium on this right now. Let us try to refrain from discussing a certain movie that is coming out Memorial Day 2025.
No, it doesn't exist. What are you talking about? There is no movie coming out in 2025. There is no live-action Lilo and Stitch.
There were no movies of this year. There's nothing this year.
There is no live-action Lilo and Stitch the same way there is no War in Ba Sing Se.
And there is no Queen of England.
Exactly.
Well, Ella, there is no Queen of England, if we want to be technical.
Oh, too soon.
What do you think Camilla is?
Mistress. I'm sorry. That was mean.
That's for the Crown podcast that I have never started.
Smart.
Off the bat, I think this has the coolest logo of any Disney 2D movie.
Truly,
maybe?
We love some Lilo and Stitch style opening credits.
Leaning more Stitch than Lilo, I suppose. It struck me how it buries the lead for like a while. There's a solid chunk of this opening that we just spend in space, and I think it makes that transition way more effective, where it's like suddenly, boom, we're on Earth, we're in the ocean.
It's Lilo and Stitch style opening credits in that Stitch gets the company logo and Lilo gets the artist logos.
Oh, yes, that's true.
I think what the idea was with Stitch is that they felt, okay, we have to give the kiddies some flashing colors and action in the first 5 minutes or they're gonna get bored. At least that's what I think, because I might power word age some people by saying this. I think this was the first movie I saw in a theater.
I can do you one better. I was 2 when this movie came out.
Yeah, I mean, the first movie I saw was Finding Nemo, so that would have been like a year after this. So yeah, I think I was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I plead the 5th.
Oh, it's
Valid,
okay,
so
Matt.
valid.
We still love you.
I remember literally the theater I saw this at. I think it was opening weekend. It was either opening weekend or the weekend after. And now that another certain movie is about to be released in theaters, and I am significantly older,
No, it's not.
I want to crawl into my bed and take Tylenol.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, this movie came out in June. I was 2.
Also, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but where was Myrtle Edmonds on January 6th?
Yeah,
Good
speaking of how
question.
old people were at things and places. Yeah, she would have been an adult by then, right?
Yeah.
If
she's-
I fucking hate that little bitch so much.
If she's 6 in 2002, yeah.
I think she got like a soft redemption in the series finale in Leroy and Stitch, I want to say.
Yeah. She's still a bitch for most of the TV show, though. And that's what really matters.
yes, of course. Of course.
Hot take, the TV show was the only one of the Disney Channel spin-off shows that worked.
Well, that's just blatant Buzz Lightyear of Star Command erasure, but, you know.
And Hercules from Zero to Hero erasure.
I will not accept the Hercules, I will accept the Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I gotta agree on Buzz
Thank
Lightyear.
you. Similarly, there was no movie released in 2022 with that premise.
Yeah.
That
no.
didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Sorry, Chris.
But to be fair, you know, your theory might be right that this opening is for attention span purposes, because even me, as an adult woman watching this, when they cut to Earth away from all the cool sci-fi stuff, a little part of me went, oh, I want to see the more cool spaceships.
I love that everything in the space is vaguely aquatic shaped. Like, I love
Yes.
that everything is, like, spherical and circular.
And that
like,
when he goes to hyperspace, it, like, splashes the side of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stitch invented the hold-o maneuver,
Yes, yeah.
and everything looks just a little gloopy.
Yeah, I love how gloopy the plasma rifle is. I will say, the thing about the opening that gets me is I'm like, oh, they're like, what is that monstrosity? And I'm like, he's just a little guy. Why is Gantu reading the charges sheet? Why is that sheet of paper so small for Gantu's ginormous hands?
Because
There's a lot of-
accessibility isn't attainable even in outer space.
That's kind of what I was thinking about that, and not to spoil too much, but toward the end, when Lilo is tugging at the councilwoman's robe, and it's like the joke is like she looks and then she looks down. It's like, well, you work regularly with aliens who are that height. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yep.
Also, small note, man, I miss David Ogden Stiers.
I have a note that just says David Ogden Stiers, and it's a heart emoji, heart eyes
I do
emoji.
too.
Yeah.
He's clearly having so much fun.
Yes. Well, and because, of course, brought him back from Beauty and the Beast, which he's also...
Yes.
People
Great.
in
And-
internet land, if I can interrupt for a second, look up the rest of David Ogden Stier's body of work. The man's been working for years, and it's lovely.
Also, watch MASH, This Is a Threat.
R.I.P. He truly was a Disney legend.
Yes,
It's great.
correct.
Did he actually get the,
I believe he did. If not, I have yet another reason for it to be on site with Bob Iger.
Yeah.
I think that might have been Eisner's fault, though. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is the time period of Disney where Eisner and Iger kind of overlap, and or they're about to overlap, and it's a little weird.
Oh, I forgot that he was also See How I Glitter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's also the innocent blood you have spilt from Notre Dame.
Disney legend.
For some reason, I always mixed him up with John Rhys Davies, and maybe it's the three names thing, and they kind of have a similar gravitas to the voice. I don't know.
Like I said, people, watch more movies. Dude's been working for years.
And he was born on Halloween.
Oh, great.
Watch more TV.
Oh my god, they never gave him the Disney Legends title.
Tragedy!
I'm gonna
Criminal!
I'm gonna go throw stuff.
They've done it
Violence!
posthumously, I think, right? They could still do it.
They could still do it, but they won't. And for that, Bob Iger, it's on site.
Just that, though. Everything else you've been doing, great job.
Nope, there's so much for Bob Iger, it's on site.
The list of Bob Iger's crimes, that paper is huge. Gantu would have no problem holding that piece of paper and reading the charges.
Okay, for legal reasons, these are all jokes.
Bob knows what he did.
There's a lot of goop in this opening, speaking of which, that the guns are goopy, and also Stitch is rather goopy in this opening when he's just spitting.
Oh god, that spit.
He's just a little guy, Your Honor.
And the Imagineers at Walt Disney World looked at that scene and they said, yes, that's our angle.
I'm not gonna lie, it might be the best introduction to a character probably within the last 30 years of Disney work.
It, Handshake, Lilo's entire introduction are both
Lilo's
top tier.
Yeah, I mean, the parallels range from, very literal to the, does this look infected, to the, more thematic.
My god, that's one of the great things about watching Disney movies as an adult, is that you pick up so much stuff you only kind of got as a kid. Like, the whole Hawaii tourism angle of the story.
Yes, yeah.
So much clearer now that I'm thinking about it and now that I can see it. And I do wish they'd kept in the deleted scenes, but...
Yeah, with the false, or the tsunami
with the
warning.
sirens and stuff.
Yeah.
Tourists, prepare to die!
Huh?
And Lilo pointing them in different directions to go to the beach.
Yes.
That is one thing I wish they kept. That was a good shot.
Yeah. Oh, and the watercolor backgrounds. I have 3 heart emojis next to that because I love the look of these backgrounds. And that also that it even in space, they still have that watercolor look. Like you said, there's that ocean sort of theme tying everything together.
Yeah, I love watching these very technical mechanical ships being drawn in watercolor.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an interesting dichotomy.
And the Gantu's just a whale, that too.
He looks more like a shark to me.
Yeah, my vibe was shark too, but one thing that did frustrate me just a little, or not frustrated me, but kind of made me laugh, is that you have all these really cool creative alien designs, and then all of the guards are just dinosaurs.
You're gonna tell me that there isn't a planet out there that is just just tiny lizards?
But then why are they all cops?
Yeah, it's that they're all cops. Like, if you look at Monsters, Inc., the CDA has a bajillion different cool designs in their stupid yellow jumpsuits.
A cat, all cops are dinosaurs. Well, also, I mean, all these great designs, and then also Tigger and Piglet are there. There's just 2 aliens that are modeled after... that are intentionally modeled after Tigger.
I think we could safely say, yeah. They're in the scene where Stitch steals the cruiser, and I think the Tigger one says, he took the red one.
He took the red one.
Yeah, yes.
Beloved. No, but also, the literal villain for the TV series is just a hamster.
He looks like a bunny. He has bunny ears. Dr. Hamsterville has bunny ears.
I am not hamster-like, I am gerbil-like.
I wanted to be in the room where somebody pitched, okay, the big villain of the TV show, not the big whale scary looking guy, that's the comic foil, but the actual villain is a hamster. Huh?
Evil hamster.
There's a descending chain of comic foils, because you've got Hamsterville, and then you've got Gantu, who is the comic foil to him, and then you've got 625, who is the comic foil to the comic foil to the villain.
Oh my god, I loved playing the 625 sandwich stacker game as a kid.
And Hamsterville is kind of in this, I've noticed, or
he's got a cameo as they're going up to greet Jumba.
Which I'm pretty sure, I don't think it was all planned, but I do like the idea that it was we need a design for a new villain. What if we just kind of dipped into what we had for the prison, and he's just there, sort of in the bottom right when they're going to visit Jumba.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Does he have
also, they put in all this effort to make a cool alien alphabet. Jumba's reading a newspaper in English.
Yeah, but the the text is like key smashed, like the actual body of the news.
Lorem ipsum.
And it's called like the Fleetglorp Times or something, and it costs 25 Zeeps.
Well, I think what we're forgetting here,
love.
Sam, is not the evil part of Jumba, but the genius part of Jumba. So who knows how many languages he knows.
Well, in the special edition, they'll change it to Auerbesh.
Yeah, and what'll they change the pizza box to?
Oh yeah, yes. I watched the because I watched this legally, wink. I saw the washing machine cut.
The dryer cut, yeah.
The dryer cut, yeah. And I don't. That's one of those things where people were like, "What are they doing? Like PC culture." I'm like, I mean, it's kind of fine to not show kids how to climb into a dryer. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. And
also, like, you can come with an in-story explanation, like maybe they can't afford a dryer, maybe they have to hang dry all their clothes.
I'm sure we'll get into it later, but it's hardly the only sanitation edit they've done to the film. Granted, this one was after the release, but
yeah,
there's a lot going on in that back third.
Whoopsies.
I'm obsessed with "Does he have a brother?" I think about that line all the time. So much so that I laugh so hard at that I laugh over Pleakley's continuing his list of like close grandmother, neighbor with a beard.
Here's the thing.
Friendly cousin.
I will give the movie this. It's
Go ahead.
not quotable in a way that you think of when you think of a quotable movie, like "Don't Call Me Shirley" or "Stay Classy, San Diego."
Yeah.
It's quotable in the way of like, "My friends need to be punished," or
Yeah. At least a rabbit would behave better than you.
Go to your room.
I'm already in my room.
Quotable lines are not super showy in the way you think of.
Because they're things people say.
I have a counterpoint to that. Like I said, I got this movie when I was 2 years old, and I had watched it nigh on religiously from the ages of like 3 to about 7. There are just parts of this movie that are ingrained into my psyche. My dad and I will sometimes answer things with just "eat."
Well, you're very persuasive.
And more than once have we just looked at each other and gone, "It's okay, my dog found the chainsaw."
I think that's a very good point, that there's a lot of scripts out there, and even from this era of, family movies, where all the dialogue is very like, "This is a line from a movie," and then but this script is just like, these are people having conversations, and they're funny.
I think what another part of it is a lot of the dialogue relies on back and forth to be quotable.
Yeah. There's a call and response element to it. She likes your fancy hair.
She thinks it's fancy?
David Coena, the man that you are.
My favorite fan art is somebody did a version of that scene, but with Laura Kinney and Jubilee from X-Men with Gabby as Lilo. And that is the most correct. Yeah, no, Nani deserves the fucking world. Cobra Bubbles is the most character, but Nani deserves the fucking world. You're 19, you've just become the sole guardian of your admittedly weird 6-year-old sister. You are at risk of losing her. You have to work minimum wage to survive. There's an alien fugitive now living in your house.
Yes, and I read on Wikipedia that apparently, I'll just quote it, that it says, in the development for the film's story, Stitch was going to be the leader of an intergalactic gang of criminals, with Jumba being one of his previous good friends, summoned by the Intergalactic Council to capture him, and then they decided to change that whole dynamic, but I imagine that would have stressed her out a lot more. Not a lot, but I think you buy that the characters sort of buy it.
Yeah, it's we need something that won't die, that's not gonna get squished, like a lobster. We're not getting a lobster. We have a dog door, not a lobster door.
Yes.
I just love how Nani is always on Lilo's level. It's like, I didn't lose my job because of you. The manager's a vampire and he wanted me to join the Coven of the Undead. I knew it!
And I also, I was thinking about, like, well, why is she immediately, like, she's in this precarious situation. Why is she inviting the added sort of chaos element of a dog? And then I realized, oh, well, it's because she was hearing her prayer, like, the previous night. And she's like, I need to do this for her, despite the fact that it's, going to be another thing to take care of.
Please give me the nicest friend you have.
I want that one.
Great transition.
It is my favorite transition. All these dogs are adoptable except that one!
Oh, that's not a real name in Iceland.
Speaking of transitions, there's one other transition I want to shout out. I love a classic Disney fades to black and the eyes are the last thing to go It's so good.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yep. I must find this diamond in the rough.
She may be the key to Triton's undoing.
That was good. Not that there is any movie coming out this year, but I think if there was, it would be a lot better. Maybe not ideal, but better if it was a Cobra Bubbles prequel spin-off. Because
about his time running Roswell?
I want to know the story of how a Roswell investigating CIA agent, how that guy goes to being like the social worker bureaucrat. That's such an interesting thing.
He is implied to still be, like, he says he's ex-CIA, but then says when the councilwoman's like, we'll be checking in on him, he's like, that's gonna be hard to explain to headquarters. What the fuck does this man do?
Yeah.
He fascinates
I
me.
I think that they might have been, like, planning to tap Lilo for a secret government thing. Like, Lilo was gonna be a Laura Kinney or something.
Wait, is that why? So she's not actually a ward of the state. They were just gonna make her a man in black.
I know that people like talk about Cobra Bubbles, like, oh my god, we have to find the backstory. I kind of like that we don't. He's just
I like knowing nothing about him.
He's just this
big
mysterious guy who's a big teddy bear. If you go deep down,
I'm more just thinking like versus what we are not getting this year. I'm like, well, just do that then.
Right, but do we have his actor? I forget.
It's Courtney B. Vance for the remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ving Rhames is great, and just the way that he can deliver these ridiculous lines completely straight, mostly saying bubbles. It reminds me also of Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and God, I miss Andre Braugher.
Very. I keep getting him confused with Michael Clark Duncan. That was my confusion. No.
What does Cobra Bubbles look like? Does he look like a social worker?
He looks like a man in black.
We haven't talked about one of, I think, the most important important parts of this year movie.
Sandwich Day.
Sandwich Day, but also the music.
Right. And the music and Sandwich Day are both equally important.
First of all, I hadn't caught it until this time around, but the immediacy in which every adult in the room recognizes what is going on the minute Lilo says Pudge controls the weather. Every adult in the room is like, okay, I understand what's going on now.
Oh yeah, you could tell that.
Yes, Lilo has
that car crash was like
Lilo's
local
developed
news.
OCD. Yep.
Yeah.
Lilo has developed OCD, and I feel for her.
Well,
I mean,
one of the other
Donnie and Lilo seem to know everybody, so, like, their parents were probably deeply entrenched in the community.
Yeah, so
they're on Kauai. It's a small island.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was told in, like, one of the behind the scenes extras that I watched, because I watched this behind the scenes for this movie obsessively, or if it was mentioned in the TV show. But Lilo's mom was a dancer. That's why.
I think it is mentioned.
Lilo wants
it's mentioned.
to do it.
I think it's mentioned in the second movie.
Maybe.
Or something.
I remember hearing that
Yeah.
too.
I think it's the Stitch has a glitch one,
Yeah.
where Myrtle Edmonds is at her fucking worst.
Peak Myrtle.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why, like, Lilo wants to be a dancer and, like, why she is trying to be so committed to it. And she's clearly very good at it. Like, the way that she immediately, like, as soon as she clocks, like, what part of the choreography they're in, she can just slip into it, like, she's been there the whole time.
Literally slip, because she's leaving puddles everywhere and everybody falls.
Yeah, she's very clearly good at it. And I also, I hold this little 6-year-old like a plushie. I literally had a Lilo plushie when I was a kid. She had a little bag that had a little bit of Velcro on it that had her camera and Scrump.
Scrump!
And I had multiple Stitch plushies. I had one in his, like, 4-legged form. I had one with him in his, like, space uniform in his 6-legged form.
I love his little space outfit. It's so cute.
He's so silly.
They never showed what happens to it, do they? He gets hit by the truck and then he's out of it?
I think
it just gets shredded.
It gets ripped off as the truck is running over him.
Yeah.
And that's another thing of payoff is Stitch lands on the road, there's a frog there, and then a truck comes. It happens when he first lands, and then it happens when he's saving Lilo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that time he's ready for it. And I really like that, you know, for his... I think this is maybe something that gets lost in translation over the course of this franchise. Maybe not, but that Jumba specifically points out he can think faster than supercomputer, and Stitch is shown to be incredibly intelligent, and immediately Grok's like, what's going on and what he can do with certain resources at his disposal.
I mean, he built San Francisco out of bedroom junk.
Exactly.
In like 5 seconds.
Yes. Oh gosh. The dancer. Yes. Lilo, I think, is up there for me with Greg from Over the Garden Wall in terms of like top tier kid writing. I think the way that she's, I just want to dance. I'm sorry. I just want to, like, she repeats herself, and it's these very kind of.
Yeah, she's just a little 6-year-old.
She's literally just a 6-year-old, and I think it's great kid writing,
She's also a great 6-year-old in that she is also down to clown at a drop of a hat. I too probably would have gotten into immense amounts of violence had I been pushed the wrong way at 6 years old.
Yeah.
I think I did bite someone when I was 6.
Kids bite a lot.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Lilo's a scrappy little thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to.
But I love...
The one thing I don't understand is how she keeps referring to those little brats as her friends.
Well, if they're the only...
They have been nothing but horrible to you.
It's like the inverse. It's the inverse of the bowler hat guy thing. Of like, they
It's-
all love me.
It's the kid instinct of, like, if those are the only other kids on the island, she has to make friends with them, or else she just doesn't have any friends. And what 6-year-old wants to admit that?
I think she could say that to sort of appease the adults in her life. Like, so you have friends at school, and you're like, there's people I know who are also there.
It seems like they're the only kids there, so it's proximity.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were her friends, before her life sort of took a turn, and
Well, it's not like we can blame puberty on.
Yeah.
No, more trauma than puberty.
Children are just cruel and unusual sometimes,
And Lilo is more unusual, and the other girls are.
Yeah. I fucking love the opening song. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because contrary to my attempts over the years, I don't speak Hawaiian. I have considered learning it multiple times, mostly because of this movie.
Yeah.
But if I need to feel something like humanity may be good, actually, it's that opening number.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, good follow-up, good second
I
vote.
think that's my favorite personally. That's sort of the one I considered like the theme song to the movie.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes with such a good sequence. Like, I consider that the central sequence of the movie.
Yeah.
It's where Stitch kind of makes that turn, really, where he steps into the goodness.
Yeah, I'd have to say, best sequence of the movie. Best.
And it's dialogue free.
Well, yeah, pretty much, except for the phone call with with Bleakley and the councilwoman.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. We're not paying attention to that.
Nor should you be.
Yeah, it's such a great sequence, and the music's really good. Alan Silvestri, you kind of popped off on that one.
I'd have to say, easily the best montage of the movie, in a movie full of them.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
I do like the Stuck on You montage, and I like the I like the Devil in Disguise montage. My personal favorite thing is that if you had bought the soundtrack at the time it was released, the version of the soundtrack kept the lines in. So there are just certain Elvis songs that I can't listen to without hearing Lilo's little, like, interstitial. Like, I cannot listen to Devil in Disguise without Lilo's little, like, Elvis Presley was a model citizen.
I've compiled a list of his traits for you to practice. Number 1, dying on the toilet. No.
Number 1, marrying a 14. Nope.
Not that one.
Point number 1, scaring the parents with his.
I mean,
If
point
you were
number 1 is
dancing?
dancing.
What'd they call it?
Yes, yeah. Gyrating.
There we go.
With your, and then everyone around him goes, "He's blue? He's blue?" Chris Sanders, I think, pulls such a good performance as Stitch, and I don't think that's talked about enough. Like, we talked about how everybody has, like, a Stitch impression, but, like, the acting he pulls off while doing this goofy alien voice, he's really good.
He's just a little guy.
Let's have to go on the ship. Oh, God, no. I can't go do the Stitch voice without feeling like I'm about to choke.
And considering he's also doing it for the non-movie that's not coming out this year, I think Disney's just going to make him do this till he's dead.
Till he's 90.
I'll tell you one place he's not doing it, the Stitch live encounters at Disneyland Paris, where it's like Turtle Talk with Crush.
Okay, got it.
Hilarious.
It was very cute. He, like, tried to ship two little kids in the audience, and then he tried to flirt with a woman who was there with her husband.
Oh, I love that, actually.
Like, he challenged the husband to a dance-off.
That's great.
That's very silly.
I got cucked by Stitch.
Jumba, quick question about your plan. Why the left shoe?
Well, I think that's the most chaos would be caused that way, yeah?
Why not, River? Why not?
No, but here's the thing. I just remembered something. I think Chris Saunders has an obsession with left item footwear, because that line, handshake, hope it's not trolls, they steal your socks, but only the left ones from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I think I have it. If he steals only the left shoe, there's no way to make a new pair by, like, giving another shoe to somebody else, because, like, you only have the right
yeah,
one.
I personally subscribe to the theory that left is funnier than right, kind of like how words with K sounds are funnier.
Yeah.
I think it is because it's not like a homophone with other words, you know?
Yeah.
It's not right,
And also,
like,
if you
correct.
have two left feet, then suddenly you have no shoes.
True.
Yeah.
You never hear about anybody having two right feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, don't give Stitch coffee. Why would you give... What? Lilo, I understand everything, but you have seen what Stitch is capable of. Why are you giving him coffee?
Because he's baby. You need something to put in the baby bottle, and they probably didn't have milk at the time.
You had coffee today, didn't you?
That's how the San Francisco is built. That's how I read it.
But, like, again, like, I just have so much of this movie and, like, so much of its behind-the-scenes extras, because one of the extras that was on the DVD, or it was, like, the second DVD, was, like, a history of the islands as told through, like, Lilo and Nani's perspectives.
Oh, interesting.
It was super funny, and
Was it
one
the
of
the actors
yeah.
talking? Wow.
And one of my favorite bits from it was talking about how the English showed up, and Lilo's just like, Captain Hook! And then Nani's like, no, Lilo, cook. And that is just another one of those bits that is just permanently stuck in my family's vocabulary.
Did they show Disney Captain Hook?
Yeah, they did. And then they cut to,
Good.
like, a historical drawing of Cook.
Boo.
When Nani corrects her.
Which would be scarier, a crocodile or...
The English.
Yeah, colonizer, yeah.
After Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, I just start crying, and I don't stop until the end of the movie, because she's just a little girl. What are you doing to her?
This dark night of the soul lasts a whole night and a day!
Aliens are attacking my house.
That's the thing I don't think people give this a lot of credit for, is that, not that it moves like lightning, because it does, but it's just moment into a joke, into another moment, into another joke, where it's like, they don't really give you time to cry until they want you to.
Yeah, everything moves it forward except when it just wants to breathe.
Like,
Which is very intentional when it stops to do that.
yeah.
I mean, the sequence where Nani is pretty convinced she's gonna have to say goodbye to Lilo in the morning is, like, where I start crying.
Because she's still, at no point does she actually bring herself to tell Lilo. Something
Yes,
I never
but
noticed
going
as
back
a
to
child watching it.
that answers my point. What goes before that scene? Him scaring the tourists on the beach with the guitar solo.
Right, yeah, everything leads together.
No, the sequence right before that is Cobra Bubbles showing up on the beach after Jumba and Bleakley have tried to drown Stitch.
Yes.
And
And David just has a cold line.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that, yeah, he says, I really believe they had a chance. Then you came along. David, you're a grown man saying this to what you believe is a dog.
I mean, he's not wrong!
But would you say that to a dog?
But also this dog almost killed his girlfriend's little sister, and also him, because because Stitch is dense enough that he was just going to keep sinking. One of the things that I noticed on this watch through is everybody especially when Nani is trying to hold Stitch, Nani, they animate her he weighs a ton.
Yeah.
He is dense as hell. That is basically a bulldog on steroids.
And when he becomes a bowling ball, it's I think that weight kind of makes you believe that he can shatter glass with his skull later.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. Good job, animators.
Yeah.
Good job.
My other favorite, like, thing I noticed on this time around, but when Lilo and Nani both get overwhelmed, they both coil in on themselves the same way. Like, when Lilo tries to ditch Scrump and then has to, like, come back and get him, she, like, curls in and holds Scrump to her chest, and when Nani thinks that she's lost Lilo, she curls in on herself the exact same way.
Aww.
To steal from you, River, what if I lost it? What if I cried?
What if I wept like a baby?
Yeah. And then the song, the Aloha Oi, when they're singing, or when she's singing to Lilo. And again, she doesn't tell her why she's doing that, which would probably drive me insane as a kid if I was like, I think she's trying to tell me something. Don't know what. Guess I'll find out when I'm put into a car, the next morning.
Yeah.
So we've given David Ogden Stiers his flowers. I don't think we've given enough credit yet to Kevin McDonald.
Oh,
Wait,
absolutely.
Pleakley is the most character. Educate yourself.
Tricky fish! Oh, it's a shark! And the octopus worse than the shark.
Pleakley, our non-binary drag queen.
It didn't come up as much in this movie as I'd remembered. I think a lot of our cultural memory of that is from the show.
Yeah, that's Pleakley's,
Well,
go-to disguise in the show.
Yeah, but he does have at least 3 different wigs.
Yeah.
Yes, and I feel mixed as a trans woman about a lot of the stuff in this, to the point where, not that there's a movie happening, but if it were, and they were to maybe not include that aspect, I'm of two minds, because I'm like, well, not great that it's like a potential opportunity for genuine, good representation, but if they copied this 1-to-1, it's like there's like, actually, she's just ugly, and then there's the, oh, you're wearing the wig? No, I'm not wearing the, oh, you're wearing the wig? Like, it's a little played for laughs in a way that I'm like, but it's also, what they do with it in the show is pretty good, so it led to some good stuff, ultimately.
For me, it's a case of, we're not supposed to like Jumba as a character until...
Yeah, for 90% of the movie, yeah.
Until literally Stitch is telling him to help.
Yeah.
And so, like, I am cool with Jumba making those jokes, because we're not supposed to like him, whereas if someone, like...
If,
David
like, the random
were making
humans,
those jokes,
yeah.
I would be a little bit more iffy about them.
Yeah, that's fair. And I do like that Jumba, after the sort of like oh, you're supposed to be ashamed of wearing the wig, Jumba is then like, well, I want to wear it. Like, and then they just fight over the wig.
Yeah.
And then Pleakley learns what it's like to be me every single summer.
With the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
When Pleakley does, like, first put on the wig, like, at their little campsite and he's looking at himself, he does seem to get, like, a genuine bit of gender euphoria out of it. So, like...
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the mosquito subplot is so fucking funny.
Yeah, and then Cobra Bubbles later saying, like, within earshot of Pleakley, he was like, yeah, I made that up.
Yeah.
It's even funnier when you consider how many endangered species there are on this goddamn planet.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
like,
true.
mosquitoes are so plentiful that you don't, like, mosquitoes are one of those creatures that exist on every continent except Antarctica, so, like, you're not, like, if the aliens were selective about what they wanted to blow up, like, they mention, like, when they're like, okay, this planet's entirely water, we're just gonna bomb it, we're just gonna blow it to smithereens, he'll just die, and it's like, oh shit, it's the island, how fast can we get a laser pointed directly at that island? And then Pleakley's like, no, you can't blow up the whole thing, it's a sanctuary! So, like, if you're gonna make up a fake endangered species, you want it to be one that is on every single continent so that they cannot target one specific area to be blown upable.
So what you're saying is, if Stitch had landed in Antarctica, we'd be having a different conversation.
Well, yes, but the only other option for this movie was Kansas, which would then make this movie Handshake Iron Giant, which, like, not a handshake.
Yeah,
but,
they are incredibly
I
simple.
think maybe part of why it's also mosquitoes is that Pleakley says we're using it to rebuild the mosquito population, so I think he might have picked a species that could conceivably be from another planet that, like, oh yeah, they're here, and because, like, why why else would Earth develop a species that sucks our blood out of our skin? They're just an alien species, and they have a habitat here, you know, to rebuild.
The bees disappearing. The bees disappear!
That's it.
Are you saying that bees are aliens?
I mean,
Not all
They're
of
not
them.
saying they're not aliens, though.
just some. Baby Jumba I have written down. And I'll explain. So, everyone gets on Steven Universe for having, you know, inconsistent character proportions. Nobody talks about Baby Jumba, that half the time Jumba looks like a bobblehead.
I mean, yeah. His eyes get a little bit wonky on the plane I saw. But
I mean,
also,
the spaceship.
yeah. The spaceship that is functionally a Boeing 747 with extra steps.
But it's red, and it's got alien markings
And
on
it
it.
plays like a cucaracha.
For the time they had to try and salvage that, they did a pretty good job.
I mean,
no,
yes,
and
it's a
it's a
beautiful
very-
ship, and I love every time it comes up in the series.
But it does have jet engines.
But yeah, but it's basically a 747 with extra
And it
steps.
does have, you know, airplane seats that Pleakley is lounging in.
It looks like the interior of what I've imagined that the fascist Tangerine is trying to turn the interior of Air Force One into.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
Interesting.
I do also want to point out, it's so much funnier that tourist guy with the mint chip ice cream, he went out to, like, the most remote place
No one
possible.
will get me here.
he can't.
And
He
still
still can't eat his mint chocolate chip ice cream.
And it's just the, you know, the wing kind of just knocks it out. Like, it doesn't hit him or anything. He's not hurt. Just emotionally.
I love that, like, once he hits the ground, he realizes it's happened, his shoulders just kind of slumped. He's like, oh, god damn it.
I mean, should we give context for the change?
Yeah, I think we
scenes
kind of have
for
to.
people who don't necessarily know.
For those of you who don't know, a lot of that scene had to be changed because of a certain national American event that happened in September.
I remind you, this movie was released in 2002, but was probably in production during 2001.
Yes.
And if you don't have context for that, so in the 80s, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan.
Okay, we don't have time to go that far back. Let's just go back a year.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so it was only a few weeks left in production when the September 11th attacks happened, so I think that was also part of why they cut some of the scenes.
You have to understand.
Because they just had to trim it down as much
You
as
also have to
possible.
understand there is one shot of, and apparently it was a big one, of the 747 ship crashing into a building. So they had to change that a little bit. Was it for the better?
To make it not only to make it not a plane, but to make it not buildings, to make it just the mountains.
So is it just... Yeah, that was probably for the better.
Definitely for the better. I think they also... I don't know if this was a 9/11 response or just a test audience response. I think just a test thing, that the sequence where Jumba is chasing Stitch around was toned down to more of a Looney Tunes kind of violence than like a violence.
I mean, I do appreciate playing hot potato with an overloaded laser pistol.
Oh my god,
And
I
revealing
love that
they
so
not only
much.
they know Christmas and they know Hanukkah.
Mel Brooks was right.
Jews in space! I mean, no, I'm not gonna make that joke. I'm too glam to make that joke. Anyway.
Oh, here, I'll make it.
Yeah.
They do have a space laser. Was that the one? Was that
No.
because I can make it?
No, I was gonna make a joke about how, yeah, of course there are Jews in space. The Mandalorians exist.
Oh, I don't know enough about Mandalorians to.
Oh,
Mandalorians are technically speaking, a species, but the species has since died out. They are big on adoption. They are an ethnic group, and they are a religion, all at the same time.
Interesting. Okay, got it.
and you have like Orthodox Mandalorians and Reform Mandalorians.
Right.
And whatever the fuck Satine Kryze is.
Yeah, my friend who is Jewish is basically like, yeah, Mandalorians are space Jews. Changed my mind. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
no, I'm not going to do that. And so...
No, why bother?
Yeah, you put a quarter in, River, you're gonna get a whole lecture on Mandalorians.
What?
I said what I said.
Oh, me giving a lecture on Mandalorians? I've totally not written a entire doc PowerPoint for a bunch of friends IRP with, to simply explain why what one of my characters was and why the Darksaber is the way it is. God, I have so many feelings about that stupid fucking lightsaber Excalibur.
On the subject of Star Wars stuff, I want to point out that Cobra Bubbles said aliens are all about their laws being absolute. I'm like, so the Galactic Federation are Sith. Okay.
I mean,
Wait,
the Galactic Federation are
of a
very...
Sith
Well, you can
Lord?
understand. The entire first part of the movie is basically making fun of the human race. Where it's just like, you know, they're reactive, they freak out easily, they have a tendency to kill each other.
But they're also very bureaucratic.
And then it's like...
Yeah, they're not giving dystopia.
As opposed to the aliens who are proper and have rules and are, you know, very Sith-like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That they're sort of elevated, quote unquote, when they actually...
Except for that one
They don't have
time when a
anything under
guy
control.
vomited up nuts and bolts.
I will say that if you watch the movie on Disney Plus with subtitles, when Gantu steps into the helm, the subtitle for the computerized voice is very Star Trek voice.
That must have been direct from the script, the transcript, I guess.
Yeah, even though none of the songs are subtitled, which Disney, I understand that you are bad at subtitles in general. None of the songs are subtitled, especially the opening one, which again, I'm not going to try to pronounce because A, I don't have it in front of me, and B, I never learned Hawaiian.
Well, it's like the Netflix thing of, like, you know, they'll put English lyrics, but then it's like,
Spanish.
yeah, singing in Spanish, yeah.
They don't even do that. They just do man singing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they don't even try on Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride.
Some of that's in English, though.
Yeah!
Oh, boy. Oh, B.
Remind me, is this before or after Atlantis the
Before.
Lost Empire?
After.
Oh, no, wait, yeah, it is
Did I
before.
say after?
No, Atlantis is 2000.
2001, actually.
But I think it's
remember that.
before Treasure Planet, or maybe same year Treasure
was-
Planet?
2001. It's 2001 and Treasure Planet is after Lilo and
Yeah,
Stitch.
Treasure Planet is 02 in November.
I mean, the reason that I bring this up is because I remembered that there's like a saying from the production t-shirts of Atlantis the Lost Empire, something like less songs, more explosions.
Yeah,
Does anybody else
no,
remember
actually,
that?
but
I do not, but that sounds...
we gotta understand, for the people, Disney was at a very weird point in this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, some things were working, and they were certainly getting more experimental. Just see all of Fantasia 2000 and Dinosaur. But
Dinosaur is a weird movie.
Dinosaurs barely a movie.
it's just they realized the Broadway musicals in the 90s weren't working anymore. They were trying to figure out something new. Basically Shrek had basically upended their entire business model and their entire way of thinking.
Well, and sort of, and also From Within with, you know, Pixar, The Rise of CG, kind of made their, like, Treasure Planet and DreamWorks' Sinbad were sort of seen as the death knells of 2D for how hard they've
So
flopped.
it's like, you have to figure out, like, this is the beginning point of that period of, where they were still trying to figure out what they were going to be, and you could argue it took them about a decade to find out.
True. And yet you'd never know it just looking at this movie in isolation. You would never know that they were going through such a tumultuous period. Because even though it is very different from what's come before, it doesn't feel like non-Disney-y. You know, it feels like their wheelhouse. Or maybe it just does now because we're so used to it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to question how much of this is truly goodness and how much of it is our little nostalgia brains going, my childhood.
I mean, I think for me, the thing about it is that like I have this movie ingrained in my brain. I have it ingrained in my psyche. It is so much a part of me that like I can't even like separate it out. It's just not possible, to the point where you and Jazz and a bunch of my hometown friends said, yeah, one of your missing genders is Stitch. Where have you been? No, literally one of my hometown friends, and I'm going to put them on blast, hi Kay, I sent them a screenshot of you accusing me of having Stitch as one of my missing genders, and I sent that to them, and I'm like, new gender just dropped, and they're like, yeah, you know, I did feel like when I was in middle school, and it's like me doing the Lilo scene of like, please give me the nicest person you can, somebody good to play with, and River, maniacal laughter Stitch gift.
Oh, that does remind me, I have also someone to put on blast in a Stitch-related way. Recently, due to a Super Bowl ad for a movie that maybe isn't coming out this year, my mom has never really, like, gotten Lilo and Stitch, but recently she told me, and I quote, "I think I feel about Stitch the same way I feel about Jar Jar Binks." Which I was like, I'm gonna put you on blast, Mom, and they're gonna eat you alive.
That's no.
No, Stitch is chaotic evil who becomes chaotic good. Jar Jar is chaotic good, but
Stupid.
extra chaotic.
Who assists...
Chaotic stupid,
who
yes.
assists, neutral evil, I guess, unwittingly. Or
Yeah.
lawful evil, I guess.
I will say, unfortunately, the marketing department kind of does know what it's doing for that movie that does not exist, because I do think about this Lilo and Stitch trailer that was Stitch crashing the chandelier in the Belle and the Beauty and the Beast scene.
Yeah.
And I'll be in my dressing
terrorizing
room.
Ariel.
Yeah.
And flirting and cucking Aladdin.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about for just 1 second?
Get your own movie.
Jasmine seems a little too into him.
She's incredibly into
Jeez.
Stitch.
I mean, Jasmine. Okay, am I gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna be that crude. I mean, Jasmine is very clearly an example of posh girls like it rough.
And he's got 4 arms.
Yeah.
I mean, I just figured that Jazz wanted him as a pet. Like, Jazz thinks he's cute and fluffy.
But she already has Raja, and he's cute and fluffy.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about Jasmine, the Disney princess, not Jasmine, our friend.
No.
Jazz,
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. This is actually hilarious. Also hilarious. Jasmine, Princess Jasmine, I should say, definitely wanted to bang Stitch. Even when I was 8 and didn't know what banging was, I still saw that trailer and was all, ouch, sorry, Al. Go figure. My fellow Jasmine's also a fellow monster fucker.
Wow. Personal business.
If we're going to talk about this marketing for just a second, I have to talk about how brilliant it was when this animated version was marketed.
Mm-hmm.
Of the those 4 teaser trailers where he infiltrates the musicals, they clearly want to set him up as an honest to God weirdo. Of just like,
Yeah, it feels a little responsive to Shrek, but it's also its own thing.
Not even as a response to Shrek, it's almost like a response to Hollywood in general, where it's like, okay, we've done this thing for 10 years, you know, beautiful princesses, wonderful songs, and all of that is lovely and good. But this new thing, the road trip comedy didn't work. Let's do that under the rug. But, and of course that would be disproven about a decade or 2 later. But this new thing of the weird alien of this is the best thing we've put out so far. And you are going to lose your damn minds.
Yeah. No, it was well marketed, but also I think that kind of was what did it for, like, my mom's perception, because she, you know, having not actually gone to see it, because I was too young to kind of go to the theater at that time, and then we went to Disney World for the first time together in 2005, and that was, like, right as Stitch's Great Escape was the thing they were doing so heavily, and thank God I never had to experience that. But I think the way Disney, again, like, as the franchise went on, he became more of, like, he's epic and crude and rude, dude. He's gonna TP the castle, and it's gonna be covered in toilet paper.
But also,
and, you know, I can see how that kind of, that hides the sentimental value of, like, when I think of Stitch, I think of that picture of Stitch in the little nightgown and the PJs holding the teddy bear. That's a good little Stitch.
Yeah, and it's what I like to call it's the Disney family effect. So, like, you know, if you've got your nuclear family of two and a half and a dog, your family is...
You sure it's a dog?
Well, you're gonna track everyone to one of the Fab Five. Let's be so for fucking real.
Yes, yeah.
But then you've got the dads in Grumpy, the moms in Currently and Mrs. Incredible, but I don't think they got much of one when I was younger. It was usually Minnie, and it infuriated my mom because my mom wasn't much of a Minnie person.
Yeah.
Then you've got the daughters and the princesses, like, pick her favorite. So what do you give the boys? We got this weird little alien gremlin kid. Give them that.
True. He's for the boys, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was talking with one of the people I do a lot of theater stuff with now. Shout out to Josh. Hi, Josh, if you're listening. But that he was talking about how he went to Disney World for the first time, and he, again, was of the generation that grew up with Stitch, but I don't think he realized what the marketing was like, because he noticed that, like, you know, it was like you had Mickey and Friends and you had Pooh, but then also Stitch. He was, like, up there with them. He was one of the big marketing draws, and I think that surprised him. But yeah, I think you're right. It's that he is how to capture the quote-unquote boy market, you know?
I will tell you, as a person who was relatively conscious during that time, that they were trying to push, because they were trying to push as, like, they had this, like, Disney Heroes line where they tried to push all the male characters onto the boys.
I remember that.
And to a certain degree that worked. I remember Peter Pan being there a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But when Lilo and Stitch came out, that was, like, it was, I want to compare it to, like, the invention of Mickey Mouse, but that's way too big. But it was like a
Stitch,
a watershed Disney moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Stitch is sort of the anti-Disney character, right? Like, if all of the Disney characters, you know, when DreamWorks does the parody of Disney characters, they're all clean cut. They're all, like, you know, too good. They're goody two shoes. They don't do anything wrong. You know,
Stitch is
it's
as
all
anti-Disney as a Disney-sanctioned character can get.
Yeah, it's all a facade. And so when you get this, you know, like, chaotic, crude, ball of wrath and destruction, who also, like, deep down wants love and affection, baby. Stitch is Lilo's I can fix him.
No!
True. But also the whole family's kind of an I can... Well, no, but they accept that it's little and broken.
Still good.
But still good.
Yeah. Still good.
But yeah, so, like, you know, it is that sort of, like, you know, we get the anti-Disney character into the mix. But no, I was gonna say, of the teaser trailers from, like, this selection bundle of time period that were on all of the DVDs that I had in heavy rotation, the three I most remember are the Stitch crashing the chandelier into the ballroom and Belle's...
Yes, because I had that on the Monsters, Inc. DVD.
Yes! And I was obsessed with Monsters, Inc. The Monsters, Inc. teaser trailer, that is the reason I am so fucking furious with Monsters University's existence.
Remember the 5th grade? Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Outer Mongolia! And the test footage of Treasure Planet that is just the solar cannon, the solar sailor through the canyon. That fucks severely. Anyway, back to Stitch. And Lilo. God,
So
I don't feel like we have
Beauty and the Beast trailer. It was Ariel, Jasmine. There was a fourth one?
The Lion King.
Oh, Lion King.
There was a Lion King one.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to boys versus girls, I remember as a kid, my family took a lot of car trips that were roughly 2 hours long. So that's, you know, the perfect amount of time for a Disney movie. And so the movies that we had in rotation, and keep in mind, I grew up with two brothers who were younger than me. Lilo and Stitch, The Emperor's New Groove, Cars, and fucking Dunstan Checks In.
Whoa! That's like, you got two bangers, you got Cars, and then we hit rock bottom.
Yeah, so it was like, it was a challenge to get my brothers to watch Disney movies.
So was your dad a Seinfeld fan, or?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, Jason
my dad's a
Alexander.
James Bond fan.
Oh.
He's a dad.
Fair.
That's actually... It's interesting you bring that up, though, because talking about this with my girlfriend the other day, that growing up, Disney, in my mind, was, like, more of a girls' thing, and I gravitated more toward Pixar, and now I'm like, oh, okay, visiting Disney, it's more accessible to me now. But also, I mean, it's obviously not patently a girl's thing. But yeah, it's on the whole, there's a lot more there, I think, for a girl growing up, probably.
Yeah, so as somebody who was raised culturally female as an only child, but parents were not strict about the gender thing, TM.
Ah, congratulations.
Yeah, I basically came out at like 7 years. I basically was like, yeah, 7 years old, I'm a tomboy, and then they didn't stop me.
They were like, cool.
They're just like, all right. And then I came out to them my junior year of and then I didn't come out to them as non-binary until junior year of college. But I was very, like, when it comes to Disney, and again, I remind people my parents are Disney adults with a lowercase a without the trademark symbol.
Oh, copyright safe Disney adults.
Yeah, they're not obsessives, though they do own DVCs, so, you know.
Great value Disney adults.
Great value Disney adults, yeah. I've been going to the park since I was 5. Which was only the requirement because they needed me out of a stroller and out of having designated nap times. So, like, you know, for me, it's a case of, like, when Stitch is always a presence at the park because, like, Stitch is he's just one of those guys. He wanders around. You can say hi to him. I love saying hi to Stitch. But, like, I was also, you know, I would say hi to Stitch. I would say hi to the princesses. I said hi to Buzz Lightyear. I, you know, hung out with Chip and Dale.
Right.
Like, I think that there are a lot more, like, specialty things. Like, Bibbidi Boppidi Boutique only just recently introduced something to do with the boys, as it were.
I think that's it. Yeah, there's something there for everyone, but I think the entry point is easier for girls because, you know,
And
they might have beat me up if I was like, yeah, I met Cinderella at Disney World yesterday, like,
yeah.
as a little kid.
And there is also, the Disney parks have this weird period from the ages of about 11 to about 16 where you don't know what to do with that kid. Because that kid is at the point in the bell curve about the characters where they recognize that they're actors and meeting them is lame.
What are you talking about?
No, there is a bell curve, but when you hit
most kids. Let's say most
you hit
kids.
that point when you're 11, and then you sort of swing back around to being like, no, meeting the kid. Like, yes, I know they're actors, but also meeting them is sick as hell.
But it's kayfabe.
Honestly, the last time I did something like that, I met Star-Lord while I was at the French Walt Disney Studios park. Mm-hmm. And, like, he was trying to flirt with me, and I was just disappointed because I'd been hoping that it would be one of the Thors. And so I kept shooting him down.
That's so funny. No,
like at Universal, Beetlejuice flirted with me, so, you know, that's my humble brag.
I have never been flirted with a fictional character. My mom has. My mom got flirted by, I think, Chip from Chip and Dale, and my dad holds a mini grudge about it. Teasingly, of course.
That chipmunk.
I think Darth Vader also flirted with me at Disneyland Paris.
You were also dressed as Padme.
Yeah, kind of hard not to.
It was Disney bounding.
I got an actor at Disneyland as Vader who was so intimidating and so good that he scared the shit out of my friend.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, man, I know that you're punk ass Anakin Skywalker. I will take the piss out of you. And I also have a photo of me fully looking like I'm prepared to square up and fight Kylo Ren. That's the sort of person I am when I'm meeting the actors.
Yeah. It's the Vader that says, like, the canned dialogue, right? Like, he has, like, a dialogue. So I think my conversation with him was literally just about how I was on a diplomatic mission and I didn't know what he was talking about.
My personal rule of thumb is treat it like it's improv. Just keep going yes and.
Yeah.
It is. It literally is. I love it. That's why I love it.
And like I said, I've gotten better about it now. But, like, there is, like, a bell curve about it.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
So I know I said I'd never experienced it, thankfully, but have all of you experienced being locked in a dark room and burped on by Stitch?
I have.
Yes.
I did Stitch's Great Adventure when I was older. I don't remember much about it other than being like, yeah, that was kind of fun. I don't quite understand why they're getting rid of it, but it was fun.
Well, imagine being 6 and your parents being like, "Oh, it's Stitch. Who loves Stitch?" And it's that.
Oh, Jesus.
Chili dogs.
The repurposed Alien experience.
Yes, which is going to be based on the R-rated Alien franchise, which now that they own, maybe we could.
Listen, no, they can't touch that building because that building is apparently made of asbestos.
I live in California.
Oh, cool.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Oh,
Yeah,
right,
no,
yes, this is
that-
the Florida thing.
Yeah, that Tomorrowland building, apparently the reason they haven't touched it or haven't done anything with it is because it is fully made of asbestos.
Asbestos, the building material of tomorrow.
Honestly, though, that begs the question of, if Disney owns everything, why aren't they doing shit like Stitch fighting a xenomorph?
From the shark? maybe?
Because there is
Because
still
that would be too cool.
there is still a delineation in brand.
Yeah, which is dumb.
There is still, Disney wants you to kind of quietly forget they're a mega conglomerate, except when they don't. This is a mega conglomerate big enough to fight state governments, like I've said. Rob DeSantis, you will never know peace. Retiring isn't enough, I need you to get it. Anyway, crime word.
Abomination.
Stupid head.
But, Disney still, they have acquired all of these things, but unless it's the parks, they are and even in the parks, they are very quiet to keep the conglomerates aside.
Even within their own franchises. I mean, they're only now messing with the timeline of Galaxy's Edge, which is something everyone was wanting them to do.
But even
the whole
before
time.
I have so many thoughts about Galaxy's Edge, but that's neither here nor there. Put it after recording. But the thing is that, Disney, for the sake of the parks, does not want you to know it's a conglomerate. It will let Marvel slip in the Avengers campus.
They're also not allowed to.
They can't do it in Universal because
yeah.
Universal has rights in Florida, which is fucking stupid. Just fucking Christ.
Now I own these superheroes on this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah. They don't want to admit that they now own things like Anastasia, even though we've been calling Anastasia a Disney knockoff for decades.
Sure. Yeah.
They don't want to admit to, they still want you, the average consumer who doesn't read the trades like the Daily Paper, Matt.
This is my bit. It is my business. It is my town. I am obligated.
Yeah, with love and affection,
love
it is also my business, but with love and affection. They don't want the average, family who comes once in their lifetime to think about the mega conglomerate that fights state governments. They want you to think of Uncle Walt and The Happiest Place on Earth that requires way too much fucking planning in your phone the entire goddamn time. This is not that podcast. Anyway.
Where is that podcast? Where can I go for that?
Invite
go
me on,
with you.
I think
invite
it'll
me on
happen
your...
once
I don't
River
know.
decides they don't want a job anymore.
Job.
River's already got a podcast.
I already have a podcast.
We have podcasts at home.
Job market's so bad I decided to follow my dreams. No, but back on the OG topic, we have not talked enough about Lilo. Lilo, my beloved
That's
little
true.
6-year-old. Fucking
she's
little
great.
weirdo that she is.
She has autism, Your Honor. Leave her alone.
She's just a little girl. Her handshake Mabel Pines. They're just little girls.
Yep.
Handshake Luz Noceda.
Also Luz Noceda. Fun fact about me is I did see that one Tumblr post that was running around in the early days of Tumblr that was what if Boo and Lilo met? And Boo and Lilo became friends in college, and Boo was totally cool about Stitch, and Lilo fully believed Boo about that one time she ended up in Monstropolis.
Then Boo sees Pleakley, and she's like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, and I did start writing that script at 10 years old about that first meeting and how it was going to be a trip back into Monstropolis. Because, they never specify how old Boo is supposed to be when Sully reopens that door at the end of one.
Right.
That's neither here nor there. Don't ask me about my monsters and
think,
opinions. I'll
Good
cry.
ending.
I think Lilo's gonna be non-binary when older.
Well,
I think Lilo's on.
I was 7 at the time, so I didn't have, or I was 10 at the time, so I didn't have the concept of non-binaryism. But if anyone's gonna be non-binary, it's Boo.
Boo also, but both, yeah, both.
But yeah.
Listen, you put a kid in a wild pattern like that, my brain goes NB.
Yeah, it's the.
I was absolutely one of those kids who wore polka dots and a stripy shirt or a plaid shirt, and my mom would be like, "Honey, please put on a solid color."
Yeah, I don't own a Technicolor array. I do not own Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat in Converse. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's got red.
Gonzo is not my style inspiration. What do you mean?
Yeah, I totally haven't called myself a whatever.
There's that screen cap of Oscar the Grouch. You see this bowling shirt? I saw it in the window, and the colors actually gave me a headache. So, of course, I bought it.
Yeah. I totally don't look at sweaters that look like 90s arcade carpets and go, I want them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I also love the... I don't think I realized that that like sort of iconic beach house look, that's only like the end, like that they have the space stuff on there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, but I guess because they made a whole Lego set out of it.
I want that Lego set so badly. It and the 97 X mansion.
Ooh.
Great, that'll be $375.
I know. I have one last joke.
Okay.
Megan Aliquista, handshake the Knights who say me from Holy Grail. Thank you and good night.
Wow. How did that vomiting work? Is that see other robots in this world besides the one that throws up?
I don't think so.
Maybe that's just an organic creature. Those are all, that's just what they look like.
I'm gonna have to look this up on a Disney wiki later, but before I do that, I need to ask, is the Force with
Yes, obviously.
Well, the Force is in all things, but yes, the Force is with Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah, the Force is definitely with
That's
it.
not how the Force works.
We're all Sith dealing in absolutes here. Worth it! Anyone want to do a Stitch voice before we go into pluggables?
Well, oh, Lito, na, Malawa, oh, Lito!
So
Excellent. What a little creature.
who would like to go first for pluggables?
I'm Matt the Movie Guy, and I've got a Letterboxd of the same name. You can find it in the description below. You can also check out my reviews on stuff like the new Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up, which is great.
So good.
And even Steven Soderbergh's newest spy thriller. Is it spy or domestic? Probably both. Black Bag. My friends and I are also raising money for our own web series, in case you're interested in people who make stuff. It's called Dear Natty, about a college student and her friends trying to start a band. Well, she falls for a girl who's got some secrets. What are they? I may know, I may not know, but until we get funding, nobody else is going to, but... So you can find the links to our GoFundMe in the links down below.
I am River Lane. I am the host of The Straights Aren't All Right, a podcast where I gather a bunch of queers together, make them watch straight rom-coms, and try to answer the question, are the straights, like, okay? You can find us at BlueSky at Aren't All Right Podcom. You can find me on BlueSky at Dreams Rebel. You can also find me on Letterboxd at punk_skeleton, and on my own website, blog.filmlion.online, where I am attempting to do the Great MCU rewatch.
My name is Ella Cesare. I also co-host some podcasts. I do Mystery Shack Look Back with my good friend Charlie Marlowe, who will probably be on this podcast with me whenever we're on next, hopefully, if you'll have us, of course. And we host that with Shelby Sessler as well. I've also got The Matrix Reclamations is a podcast I do with my friend Hope Lickner, that we haven't done one in a while, but, you know, we're adults, life is busy, but we talk about, so yeah, I guess I should have said what the podcasts were. Mystery Shack Look Back is all about Gravity Falls, the Disney show, and we go through the whole fandom and the whole show, and it's pretty much done. We'll probably do some episodes here and there in the future as more Gravity Falls adjacent stuff comes out, but you can listen to that whole thing wherever you get your podcasts. And The Matrix Reclamations is about, you know, that's us two trans women talking about the Matrix franchise, which is also made by two trans women, but has been sort of maligned to not be about transness, and we're sort of recentering it about, you know, what the lens through which we're looking at it. I also do animation. I've been doing a lot of theater. I'm becoming an actress, as it were. I like acting and singing and all that sort of stuff, and I have a lot of it on my social medias, at Drawn Without Ref on certain social medias I should probably get around to leaving, but also probably BlueSky eventually, and ellachesary.weebly.com, weebly.com is my website. I'm sort of revamping it to focus equally on all the things that I do, including, speaking of xenomorphs and funny sentimental alien stuff, I did a little musical parody called Alien Maternity, which is about two lesbians who work for the Space Corporation and Alien who decide to adopt the xenomorph baby, and there's a lot of parody musical songs in that, and that's that happened, and we might put it on soon after for like a fundraiser thing because it would be dubious to sell for money. But we also have a recording of it, and that's going to go on YouTube soon, so that'll be on the website.
And in the spirit of Star Wars, to be there for the people who need us, this episode's Mutual Fund Spotlight goes to the Hawaii Alliance for Progressive Action. This group's mission is to catalyze community empowerment and systemic change towards valuing people and aina ahead of corporate profits. They are working to implement social and economic justice across the islands, and anything you can give will help this cause. The link can be found in the description for this podcast, as well as on my various socials under my handle, DemiSem. Our theme music is provided by Refractory Period, the two girls, one beat synth pop sensation. You can follow them on Instagram at Refractory Period, the band. To further support this podcast, please subscribe to us on your platform of choice, leave reviews, and share with your friends to boost our visibility, and consider joining our Patreon.
And this is normally where I would take out the chance cube and give it a roll. And I would also announce that with the end of this episode, River, you have reached 10 episodes and ascended to the rank of Knight.
Ooh.
Which means you will have one chance to pick the degree of the movie we watch, but that's going to have to wait for another time, because our next episode drops on May the 4th.
Yes.
Strap in, everybody. It's time for Attack of the Clones.
Confer on you the role of Jedi Knight, Sam does.
Is it too early to make a sand joke?
Yes, it is. We have to wait for the episode. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, stay beautiful, and may the Force be with you.